Hey everyone, welcome to Rants by Michaela. So it has come to my attention that not only does Roe versus Wade take away a woman's reproductive rights, but it also takes away her right to medical privacy as well. I didn't know that either. I spent 4 years as a healthcare administrator from 2015 to 2019. And one of the things you have to know if you're going to work in any medical setting is HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. HIPAA laws are so strict that if violated, they are grounds for immediate termination in any medical facility because it's federal law. So to give you an idea of how HIPAA works, when you go to a hospital or a clinic or an urgent care center or whatever, when you go to a medical facility to be treated, any conversation that you have between you and your doctor and your nurse is kept completely confidential. Any agreement that you guys come up on regarding your treatment, your medications, any surgical procedures, whether invasive or non-invasive, stays between you, that doctor, and that nurse. Now, once you leave the facility, the doctor may hold on to your chart because they may have to notate some more information with regards to what's going on with your health. After everything has been noted in a physical, tangible file, that information gets sent over to a medical assistant to enter it into an electronic medical record. And then after that, both records, both the tangible one and the electronic one, are sealed shut, never to be opened up again until you come back into that facility to be treated again. If any doctor, nurse, medical assistant, nurse practitioner, physician's assistant, anybody decides to go into your file and open up your chart and you are not there being treated on at that moment, they want to open it up for research purposes, that's grounds for immediate termination. So imagine how bad it would be if any of those medical personnel would decide to take your folder and turn over any information to a state or federal government agency. That would be grounds for termination as well as prosecution. It doesn't even matter that the people that they're turning the information into is someone in government. They are not allowed to share your information with anyone. Well, now, if Roe versus Wade is overturned, any medical personnel within that facility will be able to take your information and send it over to state or federal government. So that, let's say, for example, you requested abortion services from your doctor, and your doctor, who is a licensed physician, thought that it was within your best interest to have that procedure performed in a safe and sterile environment by a licensed clinical practitioner. One of the nurses who disagrees with that arrangement can go ahead and snitch on you guys so that both the patient and the doctor can be legally punished for their actions. Now, a long time ago, when I had done a rant about Texas banning abortions after 6 weeks of gestation, there was a doctor by the name of Dr. Alan Baird who had exposed himself by saying that he didn't care what Texas law said. He was going to continue to perform abortion services for any of his female patients who requested it. And I thought, that's so silly. Why did he expose himself like that? We have HIPAA laws. If he and the patient decide that it is in the best interest of the patient's health to get an abortion, then he could have just gone ahead and done the abortion. It would have been charted, put into the electronic medical record, and then it would have been blown off. Nobody's allowed to expose him for what he did with that patient, and they're for damn sure not allowed to give out a patient's name. Well, now that's all about to change. Not only will Roe versus Wade take away your right to choose and your medical privacy, your right to medical privacy, it will also open the door for patients and doctors to be prosecuted when an abortion is performed, even when medically necessary, for example, in the event of an ectopic pregnancy. Now, here's the thing. I'm a grown woman. I have a good job. I live in the United States, which is sandwiched between Mexico and Canada. And both Mexico and Canada still have laws that protect a woman's reproductive rights. So while the United States is trying to overturn Roe versus Wade, which also, by the way, as far as I understand, Republicans are also going to pursue removing the right to be on a hormonal method of contraception. For example, the birth control pill, the birth control patch, the Depo shot, the NuvaRing, whatever. While the United States is doing all of this, I can simply take a passport or a driver's license, go to a neighboring country, and go get my Depo shot there. Go get my birth control pills there. Go get my patch there. I'm not the type of person who would use abortion as a method of birth control, but I will always advocate for another woman's right to be able to use it. But if I ever felt the need to get an abortion, let's say in the event of an ectopic pregnancy, I can simply go to Mexico and go get it over there. And I live on a state that sits right at the border. It's only a few hours drive. The people that I'm concerned about are the teenagers. We grown women, we can go to another state that still legalizes abortion and birth control. We can go to another country that legalizes abortion and birth control. Those people in the northern United States can go to Canada. Those of us in the southern U.S. region who are bordered by Mexico, we can go to Mexico. Those who are closer to the Caribbean can go to any one of the Caribbean islands that is not territory of the United States. For example, Tortola, not Tortuga, which is part of the UK Virgin Islands. Anyone who lives on the West Coast may be closer to Polynesia. The only areas of Polynesia that belong to the United States are America, Samoa, Guam, and Hawaii. If a person wanted to go to, let's say, Tonga, Fiji, Australia, or New Zealand, which are also Polynesian islands, they can grab a ticket, go on vacation, get their abortion or get their birth control, come back, and the United States doesn't know the difference. Our medical records won't be here within the United States, and they can't prosecute us for what we did in another country. But the teenagers who are not going to have the access to medical care that they would normally have access to in a Planned Parenthood or a free clinic are going to be at the most risk. They're going to be in the most danger. The teenagers who are no longer going to have the right to medical privacy. So when they were being responsible young adults and going to the clinic to get their birth control, to get their pap smears, to get their STD screenings, to get their abortions, all performed by licensed nurse practitioners, physician's assistants, and doctors who kept their information confidential and made sure it wasn't linked to their parents, who may potentially punish them in one of the most violent ways possible if they find out that their teenager is having sex. They're no longer going to have access to that type of low cost, if not free, medical care by people who just care about their physical health and are not doing it for the money. Many of those clinics are filled with volunteers, not even people who are on a payroll from that nonprofit organization that runs the clinic. These girls are going to find themselves in a position where they go to these back alley hack jobs, unlicensed practitioners who are performing these procedures in non-sterile, non-medical environments without the proper tools, causing them to be at risk to end up in the emergency room later on, dying of hemorrhaging or infection, because that's what was happening before abortions became legal in the United States. Only for the doctors who were, how do you call it? Criminalized for performing abortions to now have to use their skills to try to keep a young woman alive after she received abortion services from somebody who didn't know what they were doing, when she could have simply have received a safe procedure legally from a licensed medical practitioner in a safe and sterile clinical or hospital environment with the proper tools and the proper aftercare. These people who are talking about protecting the unborn child, they have no idea how this is going to snowball into more problems than solutions. Not only that, but let's talk about the money aspect of it. We live in a capitalist country. If Roe versus Wade gets overturned and I cannot get my birth control here in the United States, I'm going to have to spend that money in Mexico. I'm going to have to spend that money in Canada. I'm going to have to take a flight to New Zealand or Australia and spend that money over there so I can go get my one-time depot shot that lasts me 3 months and then come back to the United States. So how much money is the United States going to be losing by criminalizing women like me who have absolutely no intentions of having any more kids, and you can't force me to do anything? From getting our birth control from somewhere else, since our own government, made up of the politicians that are supposed to be representing us and our wants and needs, have criminalized us from being able to receive our medications here. What the Republicans don't know is that they are slowly but surely turning the United States into a third world country, and it is embarrassing. Anyway, that's my rant. You guys have a good one.